Hello, I'm Sheriff Bill Brown, bringing you this edition of the Sheriff's Roundup from Manning Park in Montecito. In this roundup, we'll share a recap of the remarkable investigation of the murder of Violet Evelyn Alberts. We'll take a look at the solar training program at the Northern Branch Jail. We'll hear information about the Sheriff's Office Mounted Enforcement Unit and recent Coffee with a Cop events. And finally, we'll say farewell to our recent retirees. Thank you and good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. We appreciate you being here today for this important announcement about the resolution, the solving of a particularly heinous case of murder that occurred in Montecito. Homicide investigations are nowhere near as flashy as depicted on TV, and they can take much longer than an episode to conclude. Unraveling the intricacies of a crime is painstaking work, and such was the case in the investigation of the murder of Violet Evelyn Alberts. On May 27, 2022, the tranquility here in Montecito was shaken by the news of the murder of one of its residents. It wouldn't be until nearly 2 years and over 10,000 investigative hours later that sheriff's detectives would be able to share some of the progress that they have made, including 4 arrests.
I wish I would have had the opportunity to know Evelyn when she was alive. The people that I spoke with spoke very highly of her. She was loving, but she would tell you when you were stepping out of line.
The progress of this murder case is a testament to the dedication and tenacity of our detectives, whose investigations continue. If you have any information about this case or the suspects involved, please contact detectives at 805-681-4150. If you prefer to remain anonymous, you can provide information by calling our tip line at 805-681-4171, or you can visit sbsheriff.org. The Sheriff's Office Custody Programs Unit provides training, education, and personal development opportunities to inmates in our care. These programs are designed not only to enhance the safety and order of the jail, but also to improve long-term public safety by better preparing inmates for success upon their release. One of the vocational programs we offer at the Northern Branch Jail is the Solar Panel Installation Program.
It's a 6-week program where they learn how to install solar panels onto a mock-up shed that they built. They did 2 different type of roofs so they can start to learn those. They get OSHA certified, so they do an OSHA safety part of it. Hopefully with these programs, we can help these guys reintegrate, which is the biggest thing about programs, is we want to reduce the recidivism with these jobs. They get out there and learn real world skills. When you see them in this class, they're happy, they're vibrant, they're excited to learn something new. Putting that together, it's building their confidence. Learning how to work with people, work with a supervisor. You can see the people who have natural leadership abilities show up and help out the groups outside. And I believe this is like the stepping stone in more jobs that we can get in here and train them how to do.
Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that background with us. On March 15, 2024, we celebrated the first graduation from the Solar Panel Training Program. 5 inmates completed the 60-hour Introduction to Solar course offered through Grid Alternatives Central Valley, a nonprofit based in the Fresno area. This vocational program directly aligns with our goals by providing a proven, hands-on job training program. Successful reentry requires marketable skills attainment and viable employment opportunities, which these 5 graduates now have as a result of this new and practical training program. Thank you to all of our program staff and to the team at Grid Alternatives for making a positive impact in the community and giving incarcerated individuals the skills they need to succeed. We recently caught up with the Mounted Enforcement Unit while they were out and about in Los Olivos. Here to tell you about the Sheriff's Office Mounted Enforcement Unit is Commander Eric Rainey.
The Sheriff's Mounted Enforcement Unit has been in existence since the mid-1980s, and the team was formed originally as a search and rescue component of the Sheriff's Department, and it has evolved since then to really be an all-service law enforcement unit. So we do everything from patrolling festivals, special events, to crowd control, riot control, both peaceful and situations where rioters are getting out of control. The mounted unit can respond and effectively manage those crowds. The usefulness of a horse in a law enforcement application really has no boundaries. One of the greatest tools for the mounted unit is our public relations capabilities. We can go out in a community and do high visibility law enforcement and do it in a friendly, community service oriented way. People love the horses and love to come up and talk to us about the unit, what we do. And it's really just a great way to introduce people who might otherwise be shy about approaching a law enforcement officer. Really, to be a great mounted enforcement officer, you need to be a great law enforcement officer to start. You need to understand what it is that we're out there to do in terms of community engagement, law enforcement, keeping the community safe. And then you need to be a really competent equestrian. And it's equally as hard to find a good law enforcement horse. You have to start with a horse that's just got a good disposition, who's an all-around good, healthy, sound horse. And then through ongoing training, you have to expose them to all those things that you might come across in the field. You need to desensitize the horse to all of those elements in order to be able to safely deploy them in the field. And there's lots of techniques to train and desensitize a horse, so we employ all those kind of standard training techniques to do that. The mounted unit is a collateral assignment, so the men and women of the Sheriff's Department that are assigned to the team have other primary jobs, and this is an additional duty that they take on. And it really takes a lot of time and effort and dedication from those deputies. They own their own horses, so they pay their own feed and boarding costs often and have to take care of that animal day in and day out. The department has a very small budget for the mounted unit, so we really rely a lot on community donations and support, and we've really been blessed that the Sheriff's Benevolent Posse, the nonprofit arm that raises money for the Sheriff's Department, has taken us on as one of their beneficiaries. They've purchased equipment and supplies for us to keep the team going despite the small county budget that we have. So for people in the community that are interested in supporting the Sheriff's Mounted Enforcement Unit, they can go to the Sheriff's Benevolent Posse website, and there's links to be able to donate, and they can specifically earmark their donation for the mounted unit.
Thank you, Commander Rainey, for sharing your insight into this interesting and important collateral duty assignment. Sheriff's Office team members had the opportunity to connect with members of the public during 4 recent Coffee with a Cop events. In February, Carpinteria Community Resource Deputy Brian Dickey was at Carp Moon Cafe, and Orchid Community Resource Deputy Sean Banks was at Gina's Piece of Cake. In March, the Sheriff's Office and Behavioral Wellness co-response teams were at Starbucks, and Goleta Community Resource Deputy Connor Warden was at Old Town Coffee. Each of these events gave our team a chance to connect with the public over a cup of coffee and to share information. Be sure to follow us on social media to find out where our next Coffee with a Cop will be. The first quarter of each year is a bittersweet time for those of us in public service because it marks the retirement season. This year, the Sheriff's Office bid farewell to 17 dedicated employees and 1 canine, who take with them a total of 394 years of service. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your hard work, your dedication, and your professionalism through the years, and we wish you a very long, healthy, and happy retirement. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Sheriff's Roundup. Thank you for tuning in and for supporting us as we serve and protect you.